Okay, hi everybody. It's Monday. And you know what that means? It's another episode of One Page Story Extravaganza. Anyways, hi. I hope everybody had a good weekend. I did. And got a lot done. And some frustrations last week. Some good return and exchange this week instead. And yeah, I'm really appreciative of that. So anyhow, let's get crack-a-lacking with this thing. Okay, hi. My name's Christopher. Christopher Runciman. Runcy Man is what I sign my stuff by. I make one-page stories based on suggestions from people that tune in to the stream and to my different social media. And when they suggest an idea, whatever the randomness of it that it is, I turn it into at least a single-page story a day, oftentimes more than a single page. So I'm really enjoying the interaction, the engagement with a lot of people, and I appreciate that very much. Let's see. On Friday, I started a page based on a suggestion that I'm going to show you in a few minutes, just a couple of seconds. But it was a lot of fun, and it went really, really well. And it was one of those pages that once I got started, I just couldn't stop. So, Dee Dee's joining us for a sec. How you doing, Dee Dee? How are things? You're moderating Janet's right now, aren't you? Anyhow, this page went rather well. I'll show you the originals quickly. But if you want to spend some time with the originals, I suggest you go to Patreon that I have going, where I put up all the originals for work, and then here's some of the images that I put together for today's image. I don't have one of my lights on. I'm an idiot. But I'm really pleased with how some of the stuff here turned out. So that's a lot of fun. Oh, Dee on the phone and the iPad. Oh my gosh, that's super cool. Thank you, Dee. Okay, so that's the original art, and then the end result, I'm gonna throw them in the pile. I got to get a sound effect of glass breaking. I think that would really help things out. What was I going to say? Okay, so the page ended up being two-page piece, and it was Come Fly Away With Me, and I really wanted to touch base on being appreciative of the sensitivity of the situation when people lose loved ones. We're in the process of trying to be there as much as possible with Lori's family, because her dad's really, really sick, and so we're trying to make him as comfortable as we can. So it's the tough thing. That's my whole point. So when the suggestion was Peter Pan as the Angel of Death for Children, the direction that I went was to try to make it somehow a positive feeling of, they're going to a fantastic, magical place. So that's the way that I went at it. And so I introduced the conflict of, some sort of influenza or something like that going on. And then this magical thing shows up at a window, and it leads them off to the Silver City. So that was the thinking behind it. And I'm pretty pleased with how that went. Oh, that's very nice. That's very nice, Edie. I'll pass that on to her. Corbin is good. Corbin is sleeping upstairs with Mom, because Lori spent the night at her parents' house. And so Corbin is lost without her. So now that she's home, he's not leaving her side for a few minutes. So. Okay, so if you want to see the originals and spend time with them, they're on the Patreon. After this stream is over, I'm going to put up the Substack because I got it ready to go. And it'll show, in addition to the pages that I show here, there is a couple things that'll be available to see, like a couple of pieces that I haven't posted on here. Here's a 3-page piece about a woman who's chasing down this bozo, this jabroni, and she throws her shoe at him and it disappears. And she's like, "Hey, guy, give me back my shoe." And then something crazier happens, and so she splits. So that's another page that's going to be there. And then there's a page called Teddy that'll be available to see as well. But I've got some other stuff here to walk through with you. Before I do that, let me do one more thing, and that is talk about the London Comic Jam that's tonight. So anybody that's in the area, 6 to 9 at Tap, if you're down for that, it's a lot of fun. It's and if you have a comic jam that you can attend or is in your area, yeah, I recommend you do. It's super keen and cool, and helps people step outside their comfort zone and to start to push and promote themselves to draw things that might not be the ready choices that they make about how to work on stuff. So I know I found benefit in it and sort of opened up my headspace. Okay, books of the day. I got a couple books to show folks. There was some people here on Friday. Somebody had brought up The Walking Dead. Now, I'm not a fan of The Walking Dead. I get it, but I tend to find that cultural zeitgeist stuff wears me out. But I did read in the early days, but I largely read it not for the writing, but for the art, because of Charlie Adler. And here's The Art of Charlie Adler. I really have followed his work for a long, long time. This is a signed edition. I had the opportunity to meet him, and it's very cool. So in this volume, it has a lot to say about his various work over the years and growing up and taking on different jobs and developing his style. And then we start getting to some of his earlier stuff, like his piece that he did of Buttman here, and then we get into Astronauts in Trouble, which is where I discovered him, and I really enjoyed Astronauts in Trouble. Really beautifully done book. And he's really pushed his style. A little Keith influence on that one, but I've also got a really cool book that is a sketchbook shared by, I think it's Charlie Adler. Maybe I'm wrong. No, I'm so sorry. It's Sean Phillips. I'll show you this tomorrow, the Sean Phillips sketchbook. But it's a shared sketchbook that two guys keep mailing back and forth to each other and adding the next drawing in the next pages and then mailing it back in the next pages and then mailing it back. And it's really cool looking. So here's this Wendigo piece. This is where he really showed an affinity for high contrast light and menacing, scary. So, there's a far cleaner piece of Judge Dredd work, and you can see how he's able to incorporate snow and environmental changes. I love it. Here's some of his painted stuff, some loose ink stuff. Mars Attacks. That's Charlie Adler. The X-Files books, that was Charlie Adler. And the more and more that people realize all these different jobs that he's done over time, they start to realize, oh my gosh, Charlie Adler is so much more than The Walking Dead, which has been his primary project he's worked on for more than a decade. He's got some gray tone work, just fantastic stuff. And I really, really enjoy his career overall. And it's not that I'm not dismissing The Walking Dead as for what it is. I just think that he's done so much. Like so much of this book even spends time on The Walking Dead, but he's done such a wealth of material. I hope that some of these people look at the larger works that he's done. ISBN 978-1-60706-803-7. Okay, some other things to look at. This is Timothy Bradstreet's Archetype book. That's what this one is. And it's very shiny and it's very large. So this book is, now Bradstreet works a little bit differently, but he is really representative. His artwork is very, people might recognize him for his Punisher covers. And he's done a ton of video game design. There's his Hellraiser covers, He's done tons of video game work, and a lot of it is very photo resourced and very photo representational. But the finished results, really elegant, really nice. And, it's great stuff. And he's very talented. And I like his stuff and how he manages to make everything have a very stylistic approach. And, good for him. Good for him. These are artistic choices to put these different elements together for a cover. And these are, that's Alan Moore. To incorporate this imagery in behind, and it's a very scary book that these are all from, but, you can see his cover pencils based on the photography, and then we get into his, digital coloring, and just very, very talented. So, but not for everybody. Some people think it looks just too much like it's a copy of photographs, and that's too bad because it's got something to it. For those that might be interested, here's another book we picked up. I pick up a lot of these art of film books and art of video game books because I'm really interested in what the envisioning is behind the scenes of a lot of projects. So this is a lot of the early design work that was done for Blade Runner was guys like Sid Mead and of course Ridley Scott's imagining of overlapping and flipping over different items in different scenes and repopulating things in this really disjointed way. And then, of course, Sid Mead's design art is all very practical. But when you see this reinterpretation of the same contextual reality and the same contextual narrative, and you put another story into that, there's a great deal of people contributing based on the foundation that would already exist. But you start to see some neat stuff, like the development of a camera in the wall, or further shots and viewpoints of tramways or the different cars in the sky, and trying to, enhance those cars to make them a little bit more modern, jazz like that. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Hi, Jim. Your problem, Jim. Just read. Yeah. Thanks for the concern, guys. Lori's dad's not feeling great. So if you got some prayers in you, throw them that way, please. Because we're all tired and stressed out. And we love him very much. So, yeah. So I'm keeping busy. So Laura's doing her best. So here's just more and more of these designs and these illustrations and these set locations and character developments, and this incorporation of all these digital gigantic images and interaction with them, and just so much stuff. But I really, really, truly love these films. There's just something about the behind the things, the behind the scenes of certain projects, especially if those projects aren't the most successful. This was, but especially if those projects aren't the most successful, to see the intentions and the thoughts behind. The creativity is the thing that is most engaging to me. But in order to get this unfiltered business to be filtered down the pipe and produced and released as a project, it's got to go through, cinematography, directors, producers, editors, right? So I'll show a bunch more of these. A couple other fun things, and then we're on to the bacons and beans. I spent the night over there, Jim. Yeah, sorry about that. Jim, Dee sent you more stickers today. Shh, Koviak's in this batch. I have a secret to share with you guys. It's really true. Okay, so this is an illustration magazine. I love these. If anybody wants the ISBNs, just let me know. I'll read them. I love illustration magazines, and the reason that I love illustration magazines of old work from the past is that there is a rawness and an honesty to execution of the works from a far more traditional background in working with materials that I think this point and click society we're living in right now is stripping ourselves of some of that. And, so I really enjoy looking at things like this. This is an older one. No idea where the I is. There it is. 7447056540806, then 80. I'm sorry. Okay. What is this? It's really true. My sister-in-law played Rachel in Blade Runner. What? Are you serious? Your wife is related to Rachel. Rachel was Sean Young in the original. Wow, fantastic. Dee Dee's daughter is married to John Cryer's brother or something like that. How, like, it's like everybody's one step removed from Hollywood in the States. It's funny. Yeah, I got to start a rumor about some fancy movie star being secretly my dad. I don't know. That's really cool, Jim. Really? So wow. That's pretty cool. Does Leanne get on with her sister? It's it's a very fancy celebrity lifestyle and that people can lead, and so it's it's nice to know that they're still in touch with people that know them and knew them when. That she was stunning. Yes, indeed. I think she still is, isn't she? I haven't seen any work in the last little while. This is, I don't know where I put volume 1, but this is volume 2 of Jiro Taniguchi and Jean-Gerard Mobius doing a comic book together. Now, most people know Mobius from his Humanoids work, his Metabarons work, and his Blueberry and his a lot of his Arzak material. And so him working on a manga book is a bit of a mind blow for people. But this is Ikaro is about a boy who can fly, right? And it's just wonderful and intricate and elaborate line work that is just fantastic. Jim, next time you're at a family barbecue, give her a high five for me. Yeah, I don't know, Jim. That's very, very neat, though. She's a very good actress. So, anyways, this is absolutely lovely work. You can see that there's a slight more westernization of the faces in the pages here, but the dynamics of the environment's really rooted in that manga grayscale. Anyway, I love you, Kiko. Want that on a t-shirt. I want this on a t-shirt. So they're trying to bring him down and catch the boy who can fly and try to figure out what makes him what. And one of the scientists is look at this work right here. How crazy is that? That's Yukiko. And so it's this whole adventure and story. And as you can tell, I'm flipping from the back of the book to the front of the book because it is an Eastern book, and that's how they tell their story, is that you start in the top corner here and you move your way down to here. So the reverse of the Western. So yeah. Oh, it's not Leanne's sister. It's Jim's brother Bob's wife. Fantastic. Well, congratulate them both. I hope they're very happy. Didi says Mobius rocks. Nice. Yeah, I really enjoy Mobius's work a lot. It's just, look at that. There's a refined quality to it. But what he started with the Metabarons work and how far that went. I got something fun to show you. One more thing, and then let's get going. So this is Okay, so here's Mobius. This is the Meta Baron's Alpha Omega book. Now, the lovely thing about Alpha and Omega is that it has a work by a lot of people. Okay, so there's Juan Jimenez, who is a prominent artist for the Meta Barons. This is his stuff here. This is the principal guy, and gorgeous stuff. Meta Barons is about men that have their own sons and have their own sons and have their own sons and pass on this spark from generation to generation of being the ultimate warrior of the galaxy. This, however, is, so you can see Jimenez's style, which is just gorgeous. And then this is Mobius's version of the same universe. All of these books written by Jodorowsky, who also made films. But just, you can see a very different stylish approach, and that there's an elegant simplicity in Mobius's approach, as opposed to Jimenez is very complex and very complicated. But I love them both. But I got one more bit of fun to show you. Instead of showing you in this book, I'll show you in this one. Now, this is Travis Charest, Canadian. This is his work on the same thing, the Meta Barons. You can see how other artists' interpretation, we got our Mobius and so forth. But then Charest comes in with his ink work. This is ink and digital enhancements, but primarily ink. And it takes a while to work on things, but by gum, you know, it's pretty ding dong good. So if you're looking for a really interesting artist to check out their work, try Travis, Travis, last name Charest, Charest. Just gorgeous stuff, you know. Look at the old faces. Look at the old man faces. See, I can do that without flaring it out. Look at that, you old fella faces. Oh, here doesn't like pizza pie. Right? Just great stuff. So, okay. So lots of books. So lots of books to show you. I've got a bunch of other images and things that I'm finishing off. I just getting to them. You know, some of the stuff that I've given peeks of before still. I've got an 8-page piece that will be going up on the Patreon next weekend. And in addition to that, I've got, I got to put that on the pages. So when I'm recording, what the heck are all these art pages here? What are these art bookies? And I remember what the pages were from, because I get forgetful, because I tend to work on a lot of stuff. All right, so I got some notes here about something that I'm going to be engaged in with a great deal of other people. Dee Dee here's was pulling prompts from a bag this morning that she and Janet M. Young. Janet does these fantastic zines and one-page zines, and so so there's a big swap of these one-page zines that are going to be going on, and so I got 3 different sets of prompts, just because I know that I work at whatever speed I work at, and I really want to support and encourage and engage the sharing aspect with other creators. It's a lot of fun. And if you find opportunities to do things like that, do it. There's no such and such is better than so-and-so, or this style is the best. No, it's the beautiful opportunity to see how so many people do so many things differently. And you'd be amazed by the different storytelling approaches. It's not much different than a one-page idea inherently, that somebody says, use these 3 things and build a concept. And you give that to 3 different people, and you're going to get 3 different results. So it's a lot of fun. And I got some good ones: Laughter, Armadillo, or Any Tool. And Samurai, Curious Vulture, or Vulture. Gardener, Pegasus, Vampire. Lots of great ideas. So I'll be doing those. yeah, I don't know what kind of surface I'm going to work on today. Why don't we work on this guy? This is the earliest one I did, so maybe I should just get this one done. Okay, let's see, I'm missing some stuff, and I'm sorry for that. Jim says, I like my books to flip the American way, just like George Washington when he wrote that Constitution with Daniel Boone. I believe you'll find it's Daniel Day-Lewis. Yeah, sometimes it's really confusing and bewildering when you switch to the Asian English format, or Asian Western format back and forth, because there's a great deal of sequential books and sequential materials in general that are being produced by a great deal of Europeans beyond the English. So I tend to like a lot of European comics, but at the same time, there are certain mangas. I've shown a few here. I showed Dementia 21 on here, and I think I showed some Akira for the as yet uninitiated. But I'll show more examples of really high point work, in my opinion. Dee says that she loves her books too. That's, no, certainly you got quite a bit. The zine swap. I don't know what I said. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's a zine swap. Dee says, thanks for participating. Hey, thanks for having me. All right, let's get crack-a-lackin'. We're here until, it's 3:30, and I'm tired. I didn't sleep good again. We're getting there. So I got some things I'm still catching up on. This is a fun one, and I didn't write down who it came from. But I think that that might be where we go here today. Why? Because that's what I just pulled out of the book. But we've been getting, that's done. We've been getting a lot of stuff done, and I'm really, really appreciative of any new ideas that are coming in. I am writing it down. I am sticking them in the book. So thank you very much for that, everybody. Yeah, so again, there's lots more coming in. It's just a case of getting them in there. So we'll get there. But today's idea, if anybody is the one that suggested this, please let me know, and I'll get your name down on it. Choose your own adventure, where you change the story by rearranging panels. This is a lot of fun. Philip says, howdy y'all, howdy doody. Late day for me today. There you go. Okay. Well, I hope you're getting some rest and doing the things you need to be doing. So let's do this. Today's music, by the way, is Ben Folds 5. If you're not familiar with Ben Folds 5 and you don't mind music with pianos in it, check them out. 2.75. What's with the math, Runciman? What are you doing with the math, fella? Don't yell at me. Don't yell at me. Numbers are hard. Okay. So there's an extra half. That's fine. We'll leave that half. So 2 3/4. Hi, Phil. Here we go. So if anybody has any other one-page ideas, let me know. Tomorrow I will be doing the first of the zine pages. I did that math wrong. 11 divided by 3. What? Yeah, thank you. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, now in the profile format, and I'll show you something. In the profile format, I do a lot of stuff in what's called a base 9. It's a 9-panel grid page. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay? And so somebody said something rather lovely about they enjoy 9-panel format because this is a sort of, say, here's another one with a different approach to it. So this is the thing that I've had a couple of editors say that this is where it just sort of allows me to put so much story into a piece because of the allowance of the rhythmic panels and happening. And then a pretty cool cat called me the other day and said, "Hey, you know what? I really like those ones in your book." And I said, "You're keen. I mean, you've got Sean Young's in your family." So, yeah, he's just keen. So the idea is, how do I incorporate some of this into the pages? So we're going to break this down in a 9-panel format. And then tomorrow, when I work on the first of the zine pages, I'll be doing that in a base 8 format. 8. Yeah. So so we're going to get cracking locking on that. There's a lot to be said for that, for the opportunity to be able to spend some time working on different formats and approaches. It sort of lets you, that's the wrong settings. It's these two. There we go. That's not going to show. Of course not. It's pretty nice when we can switch our storytelling approaches from one page to the next one, so that we can allow a different structure for a page layout, but at the same time, with the zine format that people are taking part in the zine swap, it's integral to a uniformity of approach like this. It's integral to that. That's the way that works. Whereas with sequential, regular old page stuff, there's so many different things that you can do. Like, it means a lot for when you've got the pages all set up at similar sizes. It means a lot to break a border, to knock a foot or something like that out of a border shape, and to have it move into another one. It changes time in a much more drastic way. So I like your Townville marker watercolor fish demo, Philip. Oh, thanks, Diggy. That watercolor paper was awful. I'm surprised it turned out as decently it did. Yeah. Well, I haven't seen it yet, Phil. I'm sorry. I'll try to pick up and sit down and watch that. That sounds great. Even if you had some stinky paper. That's always the worst. Is you sit down, you're feeling good, and your paper's like, "I'm not going to be agreeable in any way, shape, or form." You can really take the mojo out of it. So I'm glad it turned out really well. Okay, so what I'm doing is I've measured this so that I'm fitting the gutters in as I go. And so what I've immediately done by doing this is set myself a really big, hard and fast rule. 8 divided by 3. Yeah, okay. 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 Just you look at your measurements, go, is that right? Ish. I like ish measurements. So I'm keen to hear what people are working on. If you've got some stuff that is in process right now, I'm trying to engage. I'm trying to engage in making the most out of shorts and the like. to try to add some stuff to what I'm doing. And then I realized, all these books that I show each day, I should go on YouTube and say, here's the list of books that I show on this stream on this day. But let's be honest, I'm not that organized. So, see, the measurement's off here, and that really annoys me. What does this amount to? Maybe I've got it off the bottom too much. 2 3/4, so we'll take that. And then this is 1 2 3, flat out 3. So we're going to use an old method that has been around for a great many years, and that is guesstimating. It's a fine skill to develop. I highly recommend everybody try it. On paper, I thought I'd use it for the demo. Yeah, and you bet yourself, why haven't I used this till now? Yeah, that's why. Yeah. So, guesstimating is a magical method that you can use. And people go, what? Why might you do that in that way? And you go, that's just something I felt inclined to do. But we know. We all know. We've all done the same thing. Yeah. And here's my typical ambivalence and about the extra marks that I made on here. I'm leaving them. I'm not even using them. So we'll just do what we do with them. Squeak. Okay, so choose your own adventure where the story changes by rearranging the panels. Okay, so I'm going to run, because of the size of panels, I'm going to run right to the bleed edge of the page on this. And making the most out of the whole surface. Right? Yeah. Sounds good, Chris. Oh, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. Boom, boom, boom. All right. I'm making more marks because I can. Okay, so now this panel is here. Hey, let's try to get this ink working. There you go. There you go. Right? Okay. Is that right? It's okay. So these marks that I am making is me telling myself, hey, that's the size of the panel, Jack. Seeing if he listens. Okay, he doesn't listen. But this it's very, very scientific, my approach here. So I don't want you to just think, he's just been doing that willy-nilly. He's just making it up as he goes along. Oh, no, he's got a grand plan. So I'm leaving the lines in, the erroneous lines, and we're just going to use those and incorporate them into the image. So this is a jelly-plated surface that I'm starting with. And I have literally no idea for a choose your own adventure where the story changes by rearranging panels. So I thought what we might consider doing is let's just have some, a lot of this is going to be reliant on textuality. But let's just start drawing some images, and then we can look at it from a perspective of a number of different ways that we can have, story come together. Like there's so many different ways that what happens in this one image can mean X, but when you, depending on how you lead in and follow out of said image with the narrative, it changes it entirely. So we're going to try some of that, some of this jazz. All right. Okay. I hate my robot very much, and it knows it. It knows. You know, robot. You know what you did. Okay, so let's just get cracking. I think I have to. There we go. My album for Ben Folds had ended. So let's start with our cheeky, a little bit of cheeky. Guess what? Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. I'm using a ballpoint pen to start with because it's what I picked up, and I'm not overly concerned about the medium as yet. I think I'm just going to play it by ear as I go. But I know that the ballpoint pen works far better on a jelly-plated surface with acrylic than a pencil crayon does. So that is about the complete extent of my thinking behind that. I've started in this panel because it doesn't matter. All the panels are going to run one into the next. I kind of like the idea of this, but I want to push it a little bit harder. And I think that maybe I consider as I'm going some panels that can be flipped around. We'll see. We'll see how complex this gets. So, Didi has a dumb phone. Sorry to hear that, Didi. My phone has been going wiggly woo in the last couple of days, which is not good. It suggested that my blood sugar was absolutely through the ceiling earlier today. It wasn't. I did manual tests and saw that it's lower than it said. And then on top of that, my phone that's supposed to warn me and say, hey, check your diabetes. You crazy type 1 lunatic. They didn't go off. I was just high. And that's something that I didn't pay attention to the larger picture of how I'm feeling, or looking for the signs of whether things are going well with how I'm dealing with the illness. Is that I don't want to have the risk that I went through 2 years ago of losing my sight. So, you got to take care of these things, and you can't always trust the robots. You can't always just, that's the whole problem with us, not making ourselves completely self-aware or self-reliant and leaning into AI technologies or everything entirely scheduled and dutifully led up by machines, is because they're not infallible, even if they're machines. I mean, they're made by us, and we are fallible things. So check up on stuff. Dee says, I am going to ballpoint draw on Wednesday. Excellent. Oh, that's excellent. Look forward to that, Dee. Yeah, I look forward to seeing that. That's great. The Inktober pieces that Didi has shown a couple times on her stream, I really enjoy those. Very well done. So anytime she's doing anything with pens, I'm down. I want to see it. Oh, just to check it out. I said that wrong. I want to check it out. Yeah, nice. Okay, so I'm putting in a little bit of white pinches inside of here. So pull it away and pull it up from the jelly plating base that it's on. Has anybody got streams coming up this week that they'd like to let everybody know? Dee Dee's next stream is Wednesday morning on her channel. And Jim last week just did a, hey man, how's your movie going episode? TD does a number of different medium on her channel. But this morning she set up the zine swap that was being run by herself and Janet, and she's pulling all the things out of the bag. But gotta check out her stuff. Jim's stream, Hey Man, How's Your Movie Going, is about the journaling, the process and progress of creating an independent animated film. So check them both out. Good people, good stuff. Philip just did a piece watercolor paper and Tombow marker. A fish, nice. So check out Phil's stuff and get a chance and see what Phil's working on too. I really feel quite fortunate that there are so many creative people that we, get together, checking out what each other are working on, and be supportive of one another on different streams of each other. So I think I truly feel like it's a bit of a blessing that. So this face is coming together pretty quick. Jim Stream was fun. It was indeed, yeah. Now this Jim Luan guy says, there are rumors that I might do a music stream version of Hey Man, Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific. Creating a live music composition. I have no idea how that would work. I got an inkling of how that would work, and it looks and sounds like an awesome idea. Philip was going to have a live on Wednesday, but he's going to move it. Maybe in the afternoon. Okay, well, keep an eye out for that too, Phil. Yeah, it's fun to check out what each other are doing. Go to different streams by different people. There's all kinds of fun little mechanisms that are going into place for me, specifically by stepping out of that traditional expected, here's how a sequential story is being made worldview that unfortunately way too many creators have, and going to, this is how I found out about jelly plating, is by going to many of the craft streams and multi I don't want to say vocational, multi-skilled streams. It's oh no, Philip, work schedule. Yeah, work schedules are rough. I finally got a chance to stop in to the place that I worked for so many years, picking up my son Sean, because Sean works here now. Picked up some stuff for me to read and enjoy, filling in some pretty big spots. I collect one. I have one primary series. There's a great deal of people in the sequential world that'll have one primary series that's their favorite thing. I got all the Avengers, a bunch of 63 or whatever. I'm not like that, but I've been reading since I was a kid a series called Legion of Superheroes. Such a dorky name. And the characters are ridiculous. You got Cosmic Boy and Saturn Girl and Lightning Lad and, Barrel Lad. And anyways, so I've been following this. It goes back to 58. But I've been reading a lot of these things for a long time. And that, just as dorky as it is, I just love the optimism of that kind of science fiction. And man, I filled in some holes yesterday. I got 2 books that are alternate versions of them. One is where in this series it's iterations of the characters but as villains, and in another one it's iterations of the characters in a completely different franchise, like a completely different company, clearly doing an homage. That was so cool. And then an appearance in a contemporary comic book single issue that's terrible, and a collected edition of some books that I never had. So, it's kind of fun and neat to be able to pursue those and find some things that I don't have for a collection that has a lot to it. If you're interested in seeing, well, let me show you. This is not indicative of how the entire series looks, but I have 2 volumes of this, and just for comparison, that's my thumb. So that's how thick this is. And this is 5 years later, and so when the main run of the story that it started in 58 came to the last issue of its current series in 89, 5 months later they came out with this series, which picks up 5 months later. It picks up 5 years after what happened in that previous series. And so here is a ton of examples of that 9-panel format. This is work by Keith Giffen, and is co-written with the Beer Bombs and Tom McGraw. And, it's a lot of fun. It's massive amounts of story in here, and you can fit so many different actions happening through a space. Like, look here. These 3 panels are connected. You don't think about it at first, but they are, because we see them running, and then the next panel is they've moved up farther into this same environment. You can tell that by the uniform poster image. And so, I'm sorry, it's just the 2 panels that are there, and it bleeds out to this guy at the edge. Then we cut to an alternate angle of it. So, I mean, you're meant to read these 2 things as 2 separate actions, but within one narrative, one contextual narrative. So there's just, like, here's another instance of an image that bleeds across. But in this case, it bleeds 1, 2, 3, because the smoke continues here and here, and the fire continues here and here. So, and you can use time like that. This page has 9 panels that are engaged in one physical image, but to keep the uniformity of the approach to the storytelling and the rhythmic timing, these 9 panels that you follow through for how much exploding is going on, but it's one static image, just divided by the gutters. It's one static image that you're reading as 9 instances to give you a sense of the greater duration of these explosions. So it's just pacing and storytelling in a comprehensive way. Guy falls off, on fire, goes farther down, hits the bottom. It's all about time and the allocation of time, and how, characters, here's these 2 conferring, focuses on this guy's face, and then he looks back over his shoulder to the dude that was behind him here, is still behind him there. And then it cuts to the 2 of them on a balcony looking over the estate grounds. Like, those little changes and shifts in perspective, fantabuloso. So this, and then there's different artists and different story types, and it's all interconnected, and it just goes on and on and on. It's this is Jason Pearson. This is the first work that he just passed away this year, but this is his first work in comics, was drawing under Keith Giffen's breakdowns for the Legion of Superheroes. And this is where you get more into traditional superhero fare. And then, in the same series, we get into, does it show up in this one, or is it the next volume? I think it's this one. I think it is. Yeah, right here. This is Stuart Immonen's first work for DC Comics, who's gone on to become one of the most major names in the industry. But you can see the stylistic changes. There's Keith Giffen's work, an alternate style he draws in with a really loose, only drawing with the marker sort of a vibe. You can use repetition like this in order to have different things being said. But you get the sense that these lawyers are just droning on and on and on because you haven't changed the visual element. And these guys are frustrated in between, right? So I have 2 of these volumes, volume 1 and volume 2. And this is my favorite series: Cosmic Boy, Lightning Lad, Saturn Girl, Karate Kid. Yeah, that's ridiculous. But they grow up over time, and it gets more sophisticated as it goes. So that by the time we're at that stage that I just showed you, they're in their 30s. And they started as superhero teenagers in the 1950s. So it's kind of neat. People are married, people have kids. People have had gone through substantial changes in their lives, and people have had, massive character developing moments, like been in war or been in, imprisonment, or it's great how it has that sort of development over time. And then they rebooted after 60 issues of it because people are like, this isn't happy anymore. But it carved out a market share because they made a shift, and it had been really flagging for a few years before that. But then it run its course, and people said, we want Happy Book again. We want Happy Book where teenagers punch each other. It's funny that. All right, so this is a character. So I can have him saying, so let's talk about the adjusting and shifting narrative. Having this guy say something that has an open end to it. Well, I don't know what you'll think about this. You can put it at the beginning of a thing as a presentation of in how you read it. I don't know what you'll think about this. And at the end of it, you can use it like a summation. I don't know what you'll think about this. It's all how the reader reads it. It's all how the audience participant reads the piece. And so by subjectively changing it through the story, you can also add it in the middle of a narrative by having him say, I don't know what you think about this. And then continue on for a secondary point. So this is really the first, middle, and last panel we're drawing to start with. So I'll write down a note for myself. I don't know what you'll think about this. So this is, again, something that I'm going to try to push story around a little bit here and incorporate some of that into this page so that you should be able to deconstruct this page and reassemble it in your own way. And I think that how I'm going to it's tricky. I think that I'm going to post it as the page is drawn, but I think that I'm also going to post it as individual panels, so that the audience participant that looks at this on whatever social doodly-doo can then take it, photographs or screen saves or whatever of each one, and come up with their own narrative for it, come up with their own contextual, structured story that they put together from that, as suggested from the 9 separate images. It might be 8. I might think that one of them just needs to be a big impact image. But no, it can't. It has to be singles, because if you can only fit the 8 one in here, you've ruined the repetitiveness of the page. So it has to be single panels. I got another DM for a page where somebody wants to have that incorporates them and a fictitious character and their imaginary relationship together. So I'm going to try something different with that. What else? I've got another message for somebody that wants to see a page where every panel connects to the next panel connects to the next panel. Like visually, it's all linked and connected together. So I'll be doing one of those this week too. In addition to tomorrow being a 3-prompt page for the zine swap in 8 images, 8 panels. So busy week. My intention at this point is I tested something out recently. I really appreciate everybody's supportive comments that have been given to me from it. But I did the numbers and letters page where they existed as characters. I think it was Jim Lewin that gave me that suggestion. Well, I really appreciate the warm response that I got from people from that. So it sort of says to me, this is how I'm taking it. It says to me that I can do that. I can really push how I'm telling stories here, and see how people are connecting to different approaches. And I think that it tells me that the people that might be, watching the stream or looking up the pages, that they might have a stronger affinity for taking the time and effort to sort out what exactly is he doing in this one. And I appreciate it. So I'm going to push that a little more. See how far we can go together. Hand in hand. So I like pushing the buttons. Yeah. That's the sort of thing that today's topic is. Doing things fully with creativity, like really challenging yourself and your creative approaches. Doing that fully is what really makes you feel change and growth. So yeah, I'm going to continue that. I'm going to keep trying that a little bit more as I go, because it's fun. Why is that, Chris? Why is yours, Chris? So I'm just putting in his lapels here. I'm going to push some shadow. If you want to fill an entire black in, like a high contrast value for your suits or things like that, or it's a flat color for the suit, so I'm just gonna fill it in as a solid. I did that for a long time, and I would at this point advocate you play with the drawing out and defining all those folds and things in the suit jacket, so that when you choose to put a color down on it, it's still, even if it's a really dark charcoal gray, it still gives it more definition for the viewer's eye to move around the surface. Yeah. And it allows you allowing yourself that growth and allowing yourself that chance to better and improve. Go at it fully, right? It's that's the things that don't talk yourself down. Get into it. Make it messy. Get sloppy. Get all sloppy in it. You gotta make it sloppy. It's the expression of the day. And if you fancy related to somebody in Hollywood types, I'm telling you, start saying it. It'll go over big in Hollywood where they all repeat it. It'll be so cool. Make it sloppy. Test it out. Just test it out. You know what we need to be doing right about now, Bob? What's that, Bill? Let's make it sloppy. I'm telling you, life-changing. Okay, so I'm going to draw, because I want each of these images to be Locke stepped in as a unique environment, a unique character, and I like the idea of when drawing a narrative, I give something in the background. I don't just have floating heads through an entire thing. Boring. Look, see Wally Wood's 22 Interesting Things to Do a Panel. You know, when you're given a lousy thing to work from by a writer or an editor. He's a character. He's a pretty contentious guy by the time he had his final years. But he had a hard life. Okay, so I'm just drawing window frames and so on and so forth. I just want to make sure I'm not missing stuff. No, I think we're doing okay. If anybody has any dramatic and skill testing questions, let me know. Hey, Chris. Hey. Remember a time when you drew the page and it was blue? It was awesome. I'll take that too. Hey, Chris. Remember the time when you said, "Hey, I'm gonna draw a picture because you're telling me whatever it is you want me to draw," and then you did it? That was awesome. Why did you do that? What's the matter with you? I mean, no, that was good. Somebody might need sleep. Somebody might be a little bit. Whoop, whoop. Somebody might be a little bit. That's hip hop. I hope for the life of me that people describe things as that now. You know what it was like? Was it like this? And your friend was like, no. Oh, also, if you get the opportunity on Sunday night, this is, I don't know, nod, shake. The Artcasters talk about day job versus art job. So if you like to see that kind of suffering, I've somehow switched to Elvis Costello. So now I'm listening to Elvis, and it's not the pump it up Elvis. It's the standing in the place of the people. You know, it's that later Veronica period. Elvis Costello is one of my favorite people to do an impression of, but I have been confronted by the fact that millennials have no taste and don't know who it is. Who's Elvis Costello? What? Stop it. That's what I say to him. You stop it. Okay, so here's our first panel we're drawing in. I'm putting him in front of this window so that we can have him not just be a floating head in the background, you know, or a floating head with no background. I apologize. Anyways, if you get a chance to listen to Elvis Costello, give him a try. One of my favorite songs, which is such a dumb song, is from Mike Myers, International Man of Mystery. It's where this Austin Powers, British spy fop, bon vivant guy says, "Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Elvis Costello, Mr. Burt Bacharach." There's like, and it just, the camera pans over, and for no reason to the narrative of this film at all do we suddenly switch to a concert of Elvis Costello singing a song that's composed and played by Burt Bacharach. That's my kind of movie, you know. But that song It lives in my head rent free. Like I really enjoy that song. So you never know where you're going to come across things that you enjoy. Okay, so I'm just going to throw some. There we go. Putting in some other some marks here just to push the contrast in there. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. And the same, I usually say this, like if I started this face looking at a face, and I quickly gave up on that. My thing has been off for some time, so it sort of makes me have to have some decisions along the way for this fella as I'm drawing him, and consider about how do I leave the background, how do I put the marks down in the foreground, and what, redefining how I'm finishing the piece from the initial conception or from the looking at a source image, not just relying on it. It can make it fairly sloppy until you feel like you got a handle on drawing said images, but I still feel like I'm kind of sloppy, but at the same time, I'm okay. What are we at? 111. Okay, so we've got what this goes for. A piece of card stacked that kinda looks like a ruler. So we'll put the frame for the window down here. And then we'll put the... So now we've got the window in the shot. That old chestnut. So where are we at? 312. At the very least, let's get this panel done, Chris. Come on, what are you doing? So there's our first panel. The composition of it's arranged, and then we've got some interesting details and marks moving the eye around. Just like that. Am I missing any? No, pretty quiet tonight. It's because you're all at home sharpening your knives. Well, he just thinks we're quiet. You just hold on, Mr. Man. This is almost done. This is almost done. We're going to let him have it, Mabel. Sounds good, Rodrigo. Okay, so I'm just putting in some lines. Whoa! It's coming in. We've incorporated these erroneous lines that we had before. Oh, you know what? I put that down in the gutter. We don't need that line. We don't need that line. It knows why. It knows what it did. Okay, so there's our first static image. And I'm just going to turn this so that I can get... There we go. A different grip on it. This is what I'm doing here so that I can get down these details. And let's say our exclamatory. Yahoo! Yeah, that sounds like fun. And I like that guy. He's got the spiky hair, like the porcupine. Yeah, so fun. Let's put some more of these little lines. And no lines that go by here. Come on, just color the lines. You do it. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. I'm thinking about the composition. I'm thinking about what I can do next. That's the sort of thing is that when you're finishing one thing, allow yourself to drift for a second and think about, well, what can I approach next? How can I tell some additional story into the next panel or into the next progression of an arc, and see, allow yourself to just tap into that creative space. Ask yourself some questions. It's kind of weird to see somebody do it, but you know what I mean. Everybody does it their own way. Some people do that yoga. Some people get hopped up on jelly beans. Put the jelly beans down, son. You've got a war to fight. Okay, I'm pretty pleased with this first panel and the fact that it's just a face with a, I don't know what you'll think about this, right? So I think another thing that I can do is to have somebody who's got their arms crossed. I think that would be a fun panel to do too. You know, yeah, 117. So this is the text that's going to fit onto this surface. But let's just get the oiled white. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Finishing up this face. And I think we're pretty good. This panel. We got our page started. So, I don't want to give away too much today. I'm going to, before I move on to another one, and this will be posted for tomorrow as usual, but before I move on to another one, I think I should end the quick stream that we're having today. Make it a short one. Well, we're at an hour 20. It's still okay. So that I don't spoil the next panel by showing you what I'm going to do with that. But I got all kinds of ideas that are rolling through my head while I'm working on this first panel. So we'll get this posted for tomorrow, so check in with us then. I will be back at 2 p.m. EST, so feel free to join us on the stream here. There is open invitations for people that I'll try to fit in times for people to come in and hang out and chat on the stream about whatever they're doing at a time. All that sort of fun jazz. In the meantime, I'm going to sign out and go get a couple things done for this afternoon. But thank you very much for watching the stream, and I'll see you 2 p.m. EST tomorrow. Bye for now.